My favorite things on earth are debates. And I feel like that's the one thing in the world that we're missing right now desperately is debates. With all the censorship, with all the things we've witnessed in the last 4 years, I think that things like this are more important than ever. And I think this is something we need more of in the world. So this is Dave Smith. This is actually a comedian. I don't know if you saw this or not, but this was the best 2 minutes of internet I've watched in a long time. And not because like you hear, if you're somebody who spends a lot of time in Bitcoin, you kind of hear this stuff all the time. But for it to be like mainstream news like this, I think Dave Smith was debating that dipshit from CNN, Como. But listen to this. It's 2 minutes long. And he basically describes the world perfectly in terms of what we're going through right now. So this is Dave Smith. I'm going to put it on full screen. I'm going to mute myself. And let's listen to what he has to say.
We're in a collapsing empire right now, and that's our job is to try to right this ship. But we're in a late stage empire, and that's what America is. And this rarely comes up in corporate media, but the USA is the most powerful empire in the history of the world, and we are the global empire right now. But we're in the very late stages of that with all of the characteristics of a late stage empire. And what are those characteristics? Being way too expanded militarily, being very, very far in debt, and then what ultimately happens after that? The culture devolves into decadence. And that's why things are dumber than they've ever been before. And that's why, you have people, whether it's like a gay pride parade where two guys are like slapping their butt cheeks together and then they're going, we're standing up for our rights. Like, no, you're not. You're not fighting for rights. This is decadence. When you see, if you look back at, say, like William F. Buckley's firing line, when it would be William F. Buckley going at it with Gore Vidal, okay, well, just the level of intelligence there between that and like Sean Hannity going at it with Don Lemon, no offense. There's been a significant fall off. And I think that's what's going on all throughout the country. And what's happening is that the most powerful people are trying to pit us against each other so that we're constantly fighting in a culture war so that we never all get together and realize that, you know what the left wing and the right wing of the culture war have in common? Both of their dollars been destroyed by the Federal Reserve. Okay? But that never gets covered on CNN. You know what I mean? Like I never see like a big segment about that. Hey, how come all those years having the #1 CNN show, not one segment about the secrecy of the Federal Reserve, the secrecy of the CIA? Instead, all we get from the corporate media is, I don't know, the unvaccinated, the Trump supporter, the Biden supporter, pitting Americans against each other, and all the while blaming the American people for these problems. When that's just not true. Most of the American people are good people. They want to take care of their family, go to work, be a member of their community, try to give their kids a little bit more than they had. That's what, and if we had a better media in this country, they would be laser focused on the halls of power and how corrupt they are. Because man, is there a lot of corruption going on at the top here.
Yeah, it's not fair.
What? It's like everything that happens in my mind all day, but he actually said it on mainstream TV. And did you hear how people reacted to that when he said that the one thing that the left and the right have in common is that their dollars being destroyed before their eyes? And everybody clapped for that? It just goes to show where we are right now. It goes to show exactly where we are right now. Every word that he said there was bang on, spot on. And people are starting to recognize it. The one thing that he missed there, obviously, was Bitcoin. The Bitcoin, because he talked about the people at the top, the control structure, the ability to print money. When you give a small group of people the ability to print money, very bad things happen. And with Bitcoin, all of that is destroyed. And that's what's happening, one day at a time here. And things like that. Big shout out to Dave Smith for having the balls to say that on mainstream TV. That's what it's going to take. It's not going to be people like me. It's not going to be people like Matt Odell. It's going to be people like this on the mainstream, because this is what people actually watch. There's a very small community around the Bitcoiners, and we all like rallying each other up and rooting each other on. But I don't know how many people have seen this over the weekend, probably in the millions. And that's a big deal.